Okay, good enough.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Kent and I love the Denny House. Um, is anybody know the Denny House? Oh my gosh. Well, we have to do that. So we have people we hired a year ago that live on the property. They live on the very house, and they're always more than happy to give tours. So anytime you want to give them a call and set up a tour, and really miss our highlights is the Christmas season where the house is so decorated beautifully. But do you mind if I just sit here?
Fine.
So when we bought the house, I thought it was really cool to have like history book in there. So when somebody came in who would stay or visit the house, they would have a booklet and then it would tell them everything. So I could say, I would have said this or that. So when John asked me to speak, I went, okay, this gives me a chance. After 3.5 years, I've been working on this book. I need to finish it. He gave me a deadline. I have to finish it by then. So I do appreciate that, John. So I'm going to hand these books out afterwards. So everything that we talked about, you can always refer back to. And there's some more on here that we'll go over. But I did a little bit of a slideshow. I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to kind of talk about it, then we'll play some of this. And then there's three parts to this. There's the history of the Denny House, all the stuff that we've done since we've taken over, and then all the events that we've had there and failed and had there. So the house and the lot, we actually have the original deed of where the lot was and the little house stood there in 1836. We have the original deed in our possession. And then it got bought by a couple other people that were in the Denny family. And then it finally got sold to the Denny's. We bought it in 1890. And that's when they had the three girls, they had Mary, Helen, and Josephine. And so Mr. Denny was big in the oil and gas industry. He was one of the boom industries in the gas hit in the late 1800s. And another way that he made his money, he was the first one in this area to have the hand pump. And we actually have like originals on the property, and there's pictures of it everywhere. So he went around on tours and went to farm and said, well, "You guys see this invention?" And then he started a hardware store, and this invention was the hand pump. In the 1890s, that's when it came out. So it was very interesting. He made money. Unfortunately, Mr. Denny died early on. He was probably in his 40s when he died. So that left the sisters. We had money from Mr. Denny, who was the president of People's National Trust in Waynesburg, and he also had his businesses. So they believed in getting their daughters educated. So they sent all three of their daughters to really nice schools overseas to be educated. So they can come back, bring what they learn, and share it with the community. So the oldest daughter, which is, let me just check my notes here so that I can. So Mary's the oldest daughter. So Mary, um, she was good at piano. So each one of the sisters got several degrees from Waynesburg University. And actually, you probably know that Denny Hall is named after. And so they each came back and to Chicago, and she did a lot of musical composition and writing stuff, music like that. And she happened to meet a guy by the last name of Weaver. Right now, farm. He was in that family. So they got together. And then Josephine was the middle child. She stayed around here and kind of taught school locally. And then Helen was the writer. Mary was the opera singer. Mary was an opera singer. And she moved to New York and Chicago. And she met a guy that had money also. Well, none of the sisters had children. So whenever they got divorced and their spouse died, they ended up moving back here and working in the community and creating all different things for this community. They brought the museum to life. And a lot of their stuff in the museum that they donated, which was on the slideshow. And then they started a charity door. I didn't know that they did that. They started the social service league, and they also have Denny House. We play something we're going to talk about. Um, So when you walk into Denny House, why is it not working? Technical difficulty. Oh, there we go. So this was at Christmas time, but the the banister is made out of oak wood.
Yeah,
Like,
it's new.
I know, because it's not on. We'll just run through it and I'll talk about it. But each part of the house is very special. And when after Jenny's had it, Josephine was the last one to live. And she died in 1992 at the age of 99. And so after Josephine had it, she left it to Farley Koopman. And then Farley had it for a couple years because he lived there to take care of them. He lived there with his wife and the children. And so after then he put it on the market, sold it to Bob and Mary Grace. And Bob and Mary Grace bought it and created a bed and breakfast and a tea house. They had it and they did some extensive remodeling of the house. But there's still original chandeliers with woodwork. They have original arm wall that's in there. And then after they bought it, they sold it to another couple, which I'm not sure who they are. And then another couple bought it, and they decided they were going to live in the house, and they were going to training for unemployed coal miners in the carriage house. Well, then they decided they wanted to sell it. So I think it was on the market for 4 or 5 years. So to bring you up to date, so Kent and I, we were looking for a place to house one of our other businesses. And so we said, our friend Brett Moore said, you should take a look at the Denny House. He said, it's probably not right for our business, but I've never been in there, lived in Waynesburg my whole life, and never visited. And at the time, Ken, I've only been to the front door. We did caroling when I was in college to the Denny sisters. And I thought, oh, she lived there. And his thoughts were, people actually live this way. So he was pretty excited about it too. So we went in and did the tour. And when we did the tour, it wasn't quite as nice as what we have it now because the people owned it dogs. And there was dog hair everywhere. So we kind of went home. He said, oh, it's beautiful. It's like the carriage house in the back. One of the interesting things about that is that's where the girls' horses were. Well, it burned down twice. And so, of course, the girls were upset, and the Denny sisters were very upset. So Dad said, that's it. I'm going to build a building that will stand the test of time. I'm going to use fireproof bricks, and we built the Denny House out of fireproof brick, and it's still standing today. So that's exciting. So Ken and I kind of like, one day we were just sitting in a room talking about, I can't get the Denny House out of my mind. And he's like, me either. He goes, let's see if it's sold. So we went online and it went to auction and nobody bid on it. And so I was like, they're just asking that for it. So we called our real estate agent, got into it and said, hey, it's still on the market. You guys want to buy it? I said, all right, we'll make an offer. Because we knew there was a lot of work to put into it. So finally we came to an agreement and we started paperwork in May of 2021. So in 2021, we took ownership of the house. And when I looked at it, I cried because it was just so, there's poison ivy everywhere. I had poison ivy for 2 years. We considered a labor of love and something that I like, I'm going to get hands dirty and kind of work on it. So Kent and I really did a lot of the work ourselves, had our friends come in. And then we hired our electrician, our carpenter. And at that time, President Lee said, hey, I'm so excited about the Denny House. We have our alumni homecoming event there. And I said, absolutely, when it's October 1st. We just bought it at the end of May. So we literally had 6 months to pull it together. 4 months. Yeah. And so we had an interior designer that kind of did our house. We got married. And he's from Morgantown and for classic furniture. And I called him up and I said, can you help me here? He said, absolutely. So he came in, he traveled all over the United States, period pieces, bringing them back, staging them for us. And I just had to say, yes, no, yes, no. We were so in sync that everything he brought back and staged, everything turned into a day. So he was there doing that. Our electrician was there every day. A lot of the money that we put into it, you don't really see because it's behind the scenes with the electricity and stuff like that. And so we worked on the garden, we were still improving on the carriage house. I tore out the old garage doors, I put in stable doors, we put in a new bathroom, we tore out the tack room. We got our liquor license, which that's another story. I'm like, okay, how hard can it be? Well, we had to find a liquor license, which I don't know if you knew about that at the time, they were very expensive. Then we had to go before the borough to get it transferred from Carmichael's to the borough. And once we got it to the borough, we had to take all kind of classes, get our license, and then we had to be inspected. And so the inspector came and said, okay, everything was good, but you do know that it's a restaurant liquor license. And we looked at each other and went, sure. Well, you know, there was a difference. So now in order to serve alcohol, you have to serve food. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like shocked by that. So anyway, about the party started about 6 o'clock, so 5:57. We're sending our contractors home. Get off the ladder, put the ladder away. You know, it's homecoming. So we felt really good about pulling off our first event. Do you have anything?
No, go ahead.
Add to that? So we were excited.
You
Wasn't
can't
really
go get the young guy. Where is he?
no.
Or
let me-
just tap in the middle there. It'll pause.
Let me just pause it right there. So as you can see, there's the Denny House.
Yeah, just
Okay.
you can just tap it there. Yeah.
I thought I did pause it.
Can you see him?
I don't know why.
I thought I saw. Isn't that a pause?
It has paused.
Okay.
Work.
It's not.
It's okay. It's soft.
So anyway, we had our first big event and we were so excited. And I was like, okay, now what do we do? Because I'm already working, you know, having several other businesses, working full time. Kent and I put in worked every weekend, put in all this time. We thought, all right, we'll try to get it up and get some events and venues. And we created some of our own. And so as time went on, people kind of heard of it. And so we've had weddings there, receptions, bridal showers, baby showers, trivia nights. We've had class reunions, birthday parties, reunion parties. We have Grinch and Santa. We have dinner theaters. We have lunch with the Easter Bunny. So we tried to create all these things. Well, we were getting pretty exhausted. So finally, I ran into Lee and church together years ago, and she says, "Yeah, I always wanted to be a gamekeeper. How about I be your gamekeeper?" I go, "Cookie rookie." And I said, "Are you serious? Let's meet." No, I had this group being gamekeeper. I said, "You do work. It's a lot of work." She goes, "I know." So we worked out a deal and said they could dinner above the carriage house, which I don't know if you've ever been there, if anybody had to see that apartment, but it's absolutely beautiful. We remodeled the back end of it, put in a full bathroom, a full laundry room, a big living room for them. It's a really beautiful apartment. So they came on board with us in January. And you know, everyone told me it's been 5 years, yeah. And I'm like, coming on board. It's really starting to move. It's really starting to draw traction. So we decided that on Thursday nights we're going to be open to the public. We have music of some sort and really cooks. We have a full menu. Well, all of a sudden, her Rubens, which she makes from scratch, everything has become almost famous. So we call them almost famous Rubens of the weekend. And we have a full menu for people to come. I kept we really envision this as, what are we going to do? Where's our social life going? It's like, where do you go in Waynesburg? I'm like, and we built the Thursday nights for kind of our social life. So we met so many great people through the Denny House, coming on Thursday night, hanging out, getting a good meal, listening to some music, and just being able to have a social life that's not too far from where anybody lives. But we pull people from Uniontown, Morgantown, Washington, because they don't have anything like this either. So it's becoming more well known. We're really excited. We're going to take it in the future. And we also have the Huffman House to work on too. So that's, I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about history. We're trying to bring everything to current so that it's like we're coming in. But one of the things that we've done that's kind of exciting is we decided when we first got it, we got approached by ghost hunters. And they said, we want to come in and see if the place is haunted. And I said, wait, what? I don't believe in that. And they're like, well, can we just come in? I said, giggles, come in and see. And they showed me all these things they heard and seen. And and I'm like, whatever. I don't believe in this. And so, but I've had several experiences there that can't really be explained. So one time I was given a tour to a mother and her daughter. She was going to have her dinner there. And for some reason, I think that the Denny sisters got really like fake candles. So in all the sconces, we have these fake candles. So we were coming down the stairs, and the bride and the mother were behind me, and the candle put out the mother right behind. And I was like, what did I just see? And I'm paranoid, so I'm trying to make this good impression. This was early on. And I said, oh, that's just the Denny sisters. Let me know they're here. Do you guys like there's ghosts here? Do you believe in that? And if they say no, I'm like, oh, I don't either. It's vibration from the road. If they say yeah, then I go, oh yeah. And so, and then we had some ghost tours and people saw some really cool things. But one day I went in the middle of the day and I went upstairs to grab a history book that I was working on something. And at that time we had 2 caretakers there just doing some odd jobs. So in the one bedroom in the back, it used to be just kind of an open room with an open toilet in the room. So we went in and I put a wall around the toilet. I called it our small room. I put a modern bathroom in, which I'll get to the rooms in a minute. So I heard water running and someone in the shower. And I thought, did one of the girls fall in mud or what are they doing? So I'm knocking on her, Matt, Caleb, what's going on? Water running. I'm like, Matt, Caleb, what are you guys doing? They like opened the door. I mean, someone must have left the water running. The water turned off. There was no one there. I tailed it out of there. I was like, and I'm like, and so innkeepers have several stories. Some of my friends have several stories. Some people that stay there. So I really am not sure if I believe or not believe, but there was freaky things that happen while you're there. But we like to believe that the house is magical, and in the sense that when people come, it puts everybody in a good mood, makes them feel good, makes people happy. And it seems like everyone always tells us they get this warm feeling when they walk through the door. So we just envision it as a place to share with the community so that people can come, enjoy the history of the house. Because we tried to take it back to where it was when it was made. And also a place to come together with
And so if I could add to that, so the Denny sisters were, and we heard stories. There were so many dignitaries that they would entertain here, and celebrities, including one of the presidents of the United States was entertained. And who was it, Pam Taft?
Yeah.
And so Pam liked that whole idea of continuing their original legacy, of entertaining, of making people feel welcome in the home. And we, like Peter said, we feel like the house loves people. When people were in there, the house. Yeah, and so Pam is really great to Denny sister legacy.
Well, I like to call myself the new Miss. So I know it's hard to believe, guys, but I'm turning 60 this year. So I'm going to have a big party. And I said, I'm going to portrait here with the other Denny sisters. So we happen to have a portrait, and that's a professional wildlife artist in Montana, and he's agreed to paint my portrait for my 60th. So I'm in there. All the women of the house had their portrait, right? So, yes.
I met the Denny. Yes. My parents had Thompson's Christian Bookstore, which was down by the post office.
I knew them well. Well, I knew your
So, and the Denny sisters would always go and eat at the restaurant, which is where Don Patrone's is. And so I was in there eating with somebody, and two of the Denny sisters were in there. I think it was Mary and Josephine. And they called me over, but at this time I was living in Chicago, and I wanted to go to library school. And so I went over and I talked to them about what I was doing, and I think that was just in the conversation. And then sometime later, I got $5,000 from.
Wonderful.
I got one other story to tell.
See how generous they were to our
Yeah.
community?
I went to school with the son of the man who was the chauffeur. His name was Hall. My high school classmate was Ronnie Hall. And he was so excited when they went to the dormitory because he said, well, they named it Denny after me. They named it Hall after my family.
So he was delusional.
Well,
That's so cool.
It
Wow.
is so cool. They were so generous and giving, and we would read all. Well, we took you on a little tour. So, of course, the house, and one of the special things about the house, I feel, is the Tiffany stained glass window, because the sisters had that commission because they love music, they love the art, and that's Apollo, the god of music. And when you come up there in the morning and that sun is shining through, it just takes your breath away. How beautiful that is. And then, of course, there's the main room. You walk into the house, the parlor. We have put the pianos in there, and they say this. So when you walked in the door, there was a button on the floor, and she could push that button with her foot and light up the whole downstairs. I wish we could get that work on because it takes me 45 minutes to turn all the lights on. So she would push that button and turn on all the lights. Now, if she didn't know you, that interested, you might parlor and she'll hear your business and then off you go. If she was interested in you, she'd move you to the second room, and that was their music room, and that's where you got to actually have a conversation to talk with them. So, but we really feel like the parlor is inviting, and it just makes people feel like they walk back in time. And we love for Dolphy. He plays there, of course, all the time. And when he's playing there, and you're sitting in that room, you just transport back to the early 1900s, and you can just feel the Denny's living there and the era that they were in, what was going on around you.
Absolutely.
You feel like when you walk out in the street, you're going to see horses. So the main room used to be the music room, but the way we have it set up is the table, there's 4 tables on either side, and they unfold. So we can set it up for a tea party, we can set it up for a rehearsal dinner, we can set it up for any type of party, like 30 people or under. So if you want a little bit more intimate and you want your people to explore the house, so everything that we do, the house is always open. You come to the carriage house, the house is open for you to explore. We always leave it open for people to look at and explore. We want you to open the closets, make you feel at home, and just do what you want to do. That was our music room. Come to the house and look up at the ceiling. There's 4 corners, and it all represents arts, music, education, was it travel? And the ceilings are just absolutely amazing in that house. So, and then the dining room, that's where they had their dinner if they weren't eating at the Waynesburg restaurant. But there was a china cabinet in there that we restored, and it is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, Wednesday science,
Yeah.
I think. Science.
Oh, science. Yeah. So, of course, the middle picture is the kitchen. We can't do a lot of work to the kitchen. That's where the elevator is. Yes, in the 60s, then you put in an elevator, and yes, it still works today. And I'm scared to death. I always think myself winning, but one day you're just going to find my bones. And there's Pam got stuck in the elevator on the 3rd floor. Because the 3rd floor is very creepy. And the elevator will only take you to the 3rd floor attic. And it's awful. So, but people are thrilled because the I mean, it is so old school, but it still works. You get inspected every year. And when people come and spend the night, they don't want to go the steps with their bags. They take the
Well,
elevator.
our gatekeeper is constant. It's used a lot.
The top one is we call the gentleman's quarters. It's kind of off from the main music room that they had. And in there is kind of a gathering room. We think that's probably the men went after dinner to smoke their cigars, drink their brandy, talk about horse prices and stuff like that. But it's part of the arts and crafts movement, and that's the way they had decorated it, which falls in line with the early 1900s because the house, if you look down the alley, you can see 3 different types of brick. So in the early 1900s, they added to the front and added Flemish top, and they added the back, and Now it's kind of in three parts. And then one of the thing that the bathroom downstairs, it's hard to capture in this picture, but if you come and see it, the shower is a cast iron clawfoot shower, which I've never seen one before, but they actually have that in there. Now that room actually used to be a porch where you go out onto the porch or bring it go to the porch. And in the probably 50s, they made it into a bathroom downstairs. And then we move up to the second floor, which the first room is the master bedroom, and it has the big bay window in there and original light. It is just so gorgeous. That bed came from Austria. It was two twin beds that my designer found. We put down and we put it together, and it is from the 1800s in Austria. It is in such good shape, and it just makes you feel like royalty when you stay there. And then the middle room, I wanted something like a private suite. I thought if you get married there or you don't get married there, you want to stay for your first night or your honeymoon or whatever, we made this one into a private suite, which is a little softer, a little more intimate. And then the third bedroom we call the gentleman's room or the goth room. We call it goth room because it's dark in there. But it has a beautiful bed, a chasse lounge, it has a walk-in closet. Like it's amazing. They had walk-in closets back then, and it has its own bathroom.
And all
It's
these
pretty
rooms
special.
have fireplaces, of all unique materials, and all hand carved.
Now it will go to the top room, which is kind of across from the bedroom. That's the library. Great story about the library. That used to be a bedroom when the Denny sisters lived there. But when I looked at it, I told Ken, I don't care, but we'll buy this house. I want a library. I love to read. I love books. And I say when I retire someday, I'm going to work at the library because I just love being around books and reading and education and learning. And so my designer said, oh, I got this bookcase. It's gorgeous, hand carved in Savannah. I'll bring it up. I said, okay. So he brings his WVU football players. They're hauling this thing up the stairs. It came apart in three different sections. Still couldn't get it to fit. We're scratching our head. Oh my gosh. It curled up in the fetal position, put his thumb in his mouth, said, I can't deal with this. I'm going to call me when it's over. I can't deal with this.
You
He was a
can't
nervous
imagine
Nelly.
how big it was.
It was
And
massive.
what it entailed.
And we had
to
already
get it
paid
up there.
for it.
I didn't
So I'm
want to see
like,
that happen.
I just thoroughly believe nothing I can't do. And if I come to a brick wall, I figure a way over it, under it, beside it, through it, whatever. So it just so happened I had a guy working for me that worked for a crane company. And I said, hey, he was doing some construction at the Denny House. I said, hey, can you do crane? He goes, I can. He goes, what do you need it for? I said, I'm going to hoist this thing up over the balcony and I'm going to bring it in the library. You bet. You got crane. You could operate. You had an operating license to operate the crane. Now we had to tear the sick off in the bathroom to get this thing through. It was so big. Anyway, long story short, I got a library and it's never ever. Now off the library, there's another bathroom that has a original cast iron tub, which we refinished, and original light switches, original ceiling, original towel. So that's really interesting. Now the bottom pictures, what's interesting about that is it used to be a porch. And in the early to mid 80s, Farley was living in the above the carriage house, taking care of the Denny sisters. Well, they got a little more frail, a little more fragile, and they wanted him to move in the main house. Well, he was married with a couple kids, and he said, well, we're gonna move in, I'm gonna do an upstairs kitchen, just to kind of separate ourselves. So in the early 80s, they built a whole kitchen upstairs, which has a beautiful terrace off where you can see the green courthouse, Miller Hall, and you just oversee the courtyard. It's absolutely beautiful. But the kitchen does make an interesting, it makes it interesting for guests to stay there. So the top picture is more the terrace and overlooking the courtyard and up to the university. The middle picture is the spa room that I was talking about. Now the mirror, that wall, that's a wall I put on. I didn't think anybody would really want a toilet out in the middle of the room. I didn't understand that at all, but it had to do with getting older and things like that. But so we turned into a spa room. It has a couch in there. We'll pull out the queen size bed. Or like girls that get married, they do their hair and makeup in there. we have massages come in, massages, foot baths, and the kitchen is really nice because as the girls are getting ready, they'll have a whole spread in the kitchen for them to have mimosas and have breakfast or whatever. Now the tower room on the third floor, that's the terrace floor. I hear there's a ghost up there named Thomas. That's what I've been told. Thomas lives up there. But it is soundproof because it's called the tower room. And you get up to the tower room from the stairs, and that's the only room up there because it's all kind of locked off because the rest of the room is the attic. The only way they used to have stairs, like back stairs to go up to the attic, but when they put the elevator in, they had to tear all this out. So the only way you can get to the attic is through the elevator. That's really, but the tower room is so beautiful and just I just can imagine one of the girls laying up there reading on the bed, just enjoying looking up over Waynesburg and enjoying the view from there. So we also, this is a picture at night. I thought it was a beautiful picture of the outside of the house. We have two porches, the round porch and the rectangular porch, which are great for when people just like when the weather gets nice, they'll come on Thursday night and eat their dinner up there. They want to hang out on the porches. A lot of people call me for engagement pictures, prom pictures, and especially if the weather's bad. I just come to Denny House like, absolutely. We've had so many pictures taken there. And then I'm going to let Kent tell you about the pictures. This is this idea.
Well, so that's a outdoor area from the courtyards down into this. Not sure what it even was. It looked like an area they probably cut vegetables in, outside. Maybe
room.
the servants and canning, where they prepped canning and then prepped things. But it really looked like a pigsty. It had rotting wood, filth, just horrific, and it was covered in this ancient wisteria wrapped all around it, and all the debris from the wisteria for years had fallen in it. And I said, Pam, and then the basement was horrific. I said, there was a dog kennel in the basement. I said,
That's your new home.
We just get a big tarp and cover all this and open it before we make it amazing. And she goes, let's make it amazing. So
I go, what do you have in mind?
So we put it all up, we scraped the walls. So this whole outside area looks like an Irish pub.
And we call it our outdoor wine cellar.
It's really cool.
We were having a gala event, and the inside room, the inside wine cellar looked awful. It was scary. It was nightmarish. It was just filthy. So I called my designer. I said, hey, he was up there working. We were having this gala. And I said, I really want to showcase this room. I want to make it an indoor wine cellar. He said, how long do I have? I said, 3 days. He spent 3 days there, and he perfected it, brought everything in, cleaned it, painted it, did all the wiring, and we had this indoor wine cellar. And then off from the outdoor wine cellar, there was a bathroom. I've never seen so much crud on the toilet in my life, and I almost threw up. And I'm like, oh my God. But we know people the outdoors, a convenient bathroom. So again, my designer, maker, I want a sink made out of a wine barrel. You don't want to pay like $10,000 for it online or whatever it is. So our caretaker made this thing, and our designer came in and just made it so beautiful. And then beyond that is the basement where we store stuff and everything. But now we have the indoor-outdoor wine cellar with a bathroom. It makes it really convenient for everyone. So when people get married there, the girls go upstairs to the spa room and get ready. The guys will go in the wine cellar, drink their beer, and hang out and do their guy stuff before the wedding. So it worked out really well.
I want to say, so Pam talked about all the work we did when we first bought, but a low percentage of it was contractor work or rebuilding part of it. It was just sweat. And so I think I took a total of 100 truckloads of garbage away, including debris from the yard, debris from the basement, the rest of the house, probably 100 truckloads.
It was a lot of work. So we're moving up to the carriage house. So the top is one of my favorite spots. So we go to K every year with our family, and they have an antique shop there that's just absolutely gorgeous. And I just fell in love with the chandelier. Here from, it was from 1910 in the Lincoln Hotel in Philadelphia. And I'm like, man, I wish I could get it home. I'll deliver it for you. I said, all right, then I'll take this, and this if you're going to deliver it. So it just works out beautifully for that area. And then the carriage house works in a million different ways to create whatever setting we want or whatever event we want. Of course, we put in the bar, which we're in the process of making changes on that too. We're going to put in a 12 bar, have seats there. And then when we bought the house, it had this ugly fence from where they would keep their dogs in, from the carriage house to the house. And it was kind of crooked and nasty. And I'm like, get rid of that. And then it had this gravel fence. I'm like, oh, we gotta put in cobblestone. So of course it was 3 days before the event. I called my guy and said, get this done by. Oh, yeah. Okay, I understand. No, I'll do it. I'll do it for the Denny House. People were very helpful when it comes to the Denny House. Put in this cobblestone. But one of the great stories is when I bought the house, I got so many people dropping in, calling. I have an original Denny House. Do you want it? I'm like, so one of his classmates, she called up and said, I have an original chandelier. It down these people and it ended up in my mom's hand, and I'll never try to with it. Do you want it? And I'm like, do I want it? Hello. So we put it in the carriage house. It's absolutely beautiful. And I guess the story is Denny's sisters hated the chandelier. Didn't ever want to see it again. And I think that's why they haunt me. I brought the chandelier. I see.
The carriage house, when we bought it, it looked like a garage, just a garage, no better than that. They had classrooms in this garage. But Pam had this vision of how to make it look classy and transformed it. But then into this garage space, brought the formal house into the garage, into the carriage house. So it's really strikingly cool.
Yes. So our innkeepers, Andy and Leanne, of course we have a website that tells all this too. We just love them. They're awesome. They're speakers. I had an appointment. Somebody wanted to come and tour the house. And then Pat and I enjoyed it.
That was
so
from
much.
New Year's that we had our New Year's party, sold it out. Most of our parties now by reservation selling out.
So full picture of the Denny House. That's inside the room that we decorated and had an event there. So you see how beautiful and elegant. One of the things I was going to tell you, people just got really generous. They would call me up and go, I have my grandmother's china. I can't bear to go to a Goodwill store. Do you want it? And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, because I couldn't bear to go to a Goodwill store. Because that's my passion is glass and china. And so now you have the option of using real time and your events. Well, needless to say, I might have gotten carried away. So we have stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of grandmother's china that I can't say no to. And then we had a woman that collected Duncan Miller glass in Washington for 30 years. And she had 40 boxes of that stuff.
Gosh.
And I took every single bit of it and we use it. So the good thing is it's going to get used at the event house. I just don't know when, where, how. I'm not going to And you guys, we introduced the sisters. I was Mary was the oldest sister. She was the opera singer. Josephine was the middle sister that stayed here. And Helen was the youngest sister. And she wrote the music, which we have Helen's music on the piano at the Denny House for people. And all their degrees are in the carriage house. Some of their degrees. They got so many degrees that it's hard to keep. So this is the that was the family. And then this is Mr. Denny on his horse. I think it's like in front of Miller Hall, it looks like. And then the three sisters lined up. And then I think that's Josephine in her little Halloween costume. She was a little Bo Peep. And then the E.L. Denny hardware store on High Street. And the Denny family owned that. More of their degrees and stories that you'll be able to read, more degrees and stories about that. These are all stories we ran in the green scene. So some of it's repetitive. This I wanted to stop because this is, I went down to the museum and had their curator show me all the pieces they donated. And these are some of the pieces that the Denny sisters donated. Now, I think a lot of these pieces came from Mary, whenever she married the Beaver guy and he passed, she brought this stuff back. And they're like, what are we going to do with all this? So I think they donated some of that to the museum, that furniture. Helen, she was a soprano. So this is more Mary. And then this is, we also decided to have an Airbnb. So if anybody wants to come in and spend the night, we have several people that do, whether they're just curious about the ghost, curious about the house, or they have to come back for a reunion or a wedding, and they'll rent the whole house. We had a wedding. We weren't big enough. It was a small venue holding about 100. So they had a wedding at Valley View, and they rented the whole entire wedding house for 5 days, just so people could come and go and have an after party and have fun there. So we do rent it out. That's just me after an event going, okay, we pulled it off. We pulled it off.
So how much
these are,
business you get for your Airbnb?
Huh?
How much business you get for your
we
Airbnb?
just, we've been running it out properly, and we just put it on Airbnb in October. So we haven't had a good enough time to really feel it out and see what we're going to get. But we've run it several times, and people are just so happy because Leanne makes you breakfast the next morning. She just caters to your every whim, whatever you want. I mean, we went to Don Patron's. We had an older couple stay there, and when she was coming back, she tripped and fell on the street and scraped her ankle. And Leanne was so upset that she went to the carry door, got a walker, and had a walker waiting for her. And they do a really great job of making everybody feel so special.
You still have the mirror? The Liza Minnelli?
Yes. So that's a good story. In the master suite, there is a mirror, full-length mirror, and has cherubs on the top. It's a standalone. And so my designer said, hey, I've been figuring out and found this amazing find. I go, well, you spent all my money. I am done. I have no more money left. Well, let me just tell you. I go, no, I don't want to hear about it. I'm done. What was Liza Dallas? I go, say more. What? And it was given to her as a wedding gift for their third marriage. And it was hand carved in France. It's got silk in the back. It is absolutely stunning. And a lot of brides want to get their pictures taken in front of it because it's a really beautiful piece. This was during a gala. We had a cookie table that everybody at the end could get a box together of cookies and take with them. More of gala pictures that we've had. We've done some 1920 theme. This is a bride who got married at Valley View, ready at Denny House. This was her spread with the bridesmaids. She was getting ready. This is a Valentine's Day party we had, just some fun stuff that goes on. We put tables outside the courtyard during the summer months. More of the gentlemen's room upstairs. We had a big party in the Denny House, and you can decorate it so many ways. The round table is amazing. The Valentine's Day there. We made dinners. This is when we're in dinner, playing the piano. It's just wonderful. It's a Thanksgiving theme that we did. Of course, the Tiffany's stained glass window. That's gorgeous. We have red carpet events. We roll out the red carpet. We did Grinch and Santa. This is my friend Dawn, her daughter Gina. We do Grinch and Santa. We always decorate everything very well for Christmas. At the Denny House, you eat dessert first, so you're always going to get some kind of dessert before you have dinner. During the Christmas time, when I had that cat, he had this Santa collection. Like, hey, this isn't going to fit in my house. And so when we bought the Denny House, these Santas will look great in here. So he has whole Santa Claus. He's been for 45 years. Some of them are just one of a kind. And so when we do decorate the house, and then that's another thing we did. Like, I didn't want it to be all my designer. I wanted some personal things that we picked along the way to add some special things. Like we were shopping in on King Street in Virginia, and I found the bust clock, and I'm like, I want it. And then I found this clock. Remember Jan's hardware store? We went in there about the Santa clock. So we happened to have a grandfather clock that worked. The clock guy came in and said, where did you get that? I go, I bought it for $5 down the street a couple 5 years ago. They're like, that's old. That was the original 1900 one. And I'm like, oh, please, how did I look into that? So, of course, I don't know whether he's telling me the truth or just wanted to call me on the fly to get it fixed. So I got it fixed. And it's working there. This is like we had a baby shower there. We always have these chairs, and special chairs to celebrate with. This is one of our newest finds, and that came. We just bought that one recently, and that was handcrafted in Italy, and everything was handmade in Italy. And we just put that one in. So we're excited about that piece. A baby shower that we did that just so beautiful and elegant in there, and then that goes back to the beginning of that. Oh, more Santas, I guess. So you can see the collection is fairly big collection of Santas, but it's so beautiful in the house at Christmas time.
Should we go to questions, or is there something else?
There's some history, but as it gets there, a gala picture because you can see how beautiful it is when it's all decorated. Your Christmas pictures, I just love it at Christmas time. There's a tea party that we did. The tree is just gorgeous. But yeah, when we get to the history, I'll stop it. Does anybody have any questions or something I didn't talk about that you wanted to know about?
No, but I have some comments. I have been to your carriage house. Had wonderful food, wonderful drinks, the Miss Denny. I toured the house. I just think it's marvelous what you have done with it and what you have added to our community. We need stuff like this, and I hope something similar happens at
Ooh, thank you so much for your kind comments. And it does take a community to make this happen because, unfortunately, I wish I had enough money like the Denny sisters to do everything because I would, but I do have to make money to do this. That's where the community comes in to support local businesses that are really trying hard to make the community special. So it means a lot for when we see new faces or we see the same people that come out and support us. It really does mean a lot to us.
And I also went to your ghost tonight 2 years ago, and that was wonderful.
Oh, you enjoyed it? Good.
Oh my goodness, it's great. I think you'll ever have that again?
We're working on something in Oregon. We've had several other ghost people call us on. A group of retired police officers in West Virginia. They formed the ghost hunting, and they've been coming up and doing some stuff. I think we might do something with them.
I think this was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think we had one this past.
We did.
But the one I went to was great.
Oh yeah, there's some crazy stuff happening.
In both houses.
Oh
The house was in,
Oh yeah.
and they told us about the candle.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy things. I wanted to share this picture because we've had a lot of like presidents, dignitaries that visited the Denny House. But this is the Penn State girls basketball team, women's basketball team, and Ken played on it. And she wanted to play WVU. We said we need a place to stop and eat. And my niece said, "My the Denny House. Let's go there." So we got to entertain. They were wonderful, so great. I had to do this all night because they're so tall, but it was a really fun time. And then there's my grandson. My grandson, just a quick story because I can't tell any stories about telling a story about my grandson. He's 6 now, but when we started, he was 3. About 3.5, 2.5. And so anyway, when we got our liquor license, I said, we got to name the bar. His name's Ben's. We decided to call it Benny's Bar. So we brought him there one night, and he was like looking around. He was so excited. He was, "Grammy, is this my bar?" I said, "It is your bar." I said, "The next day I had to go back and clean up." I brought him in. He goes, "Welcome to my bar, Benny's Bar." "Where is everybody?" I said, "Ben, they don't live here." And he was cracking up. So, I own a bar. I own a bar. And I'm like, "Oh, gosh. Oh, no." Saying that. So it was pretty funny. And he actually practices karaoke. He sang karaoke last year on stage. So that was fun. Yeah, it does take, we have a lot of ideas. We live in a very unique community that's beautiful and wonderful, but to get people out to support you, that's a lot of work to do that.
And you know about that, don't you?
Because you have all these things, you have these great ideas. Here's the Denny House when we started remodeling it. Helen was born in 1896 and passed in 1891. That's the carriage house back in the day. They were so proud to be in the Waynesburg Christmas parade. That's them riding in the back. That's Josephine on her horses. She loves horses. And that's Josephine graduating from college. And that's Josephine as a little girl. That's Josephine and her mother. And you can see how beautiful the garden was. And I'm going to try to emulate that. This is the side porch, which they ripped this off. And then that's where they put the round porch on. So that's what the round porch was. And then we just have special things coming up with the Galentine's Day Tea Party. We're open to the public every Thursday. We have
Starting what?
February 4th. We have a father and daughter specialty and mother and son specialty. And then we have our Valentine's Day dinner. But it is so much fun to do. I mean, if I could do it for free, that's all I do. If I could just hit the lottery, I would just work free things all the time because it is fun. It is this very special place. And I'm just so happy that we don't feel like we own the Denny House. We're just stewards of the Denny House. So that when we pass it down, the next person that takes it over, hopefully it'll be someone special that can continue what the Denny's created in the beginning with it and carry that on because we think so many beautiful homes have been torn down here. It's so sad. We're losing a part of history. And that's we want to bring this house back, and that's why we wanted to buy the hospital house, even though it's not there yet. At least we saved it.
Yeah, because it was in terrible, horrible shape.
Yeah. And so I just love what we do, and we love the town. And we wish we could get more people like you.
Do we need reservations for Thursday?
No reservations for Thursdays. It's open to the public from 5 to 9. You just come, show up. There's a menu. Sometimes we have bands, singers, karaoke, open mic night. We just have whatever we have going on. Try to make it fun and exciting. I am trying to get a murder mystery dinner organized, so I'm working on that.
And on Facebook, you can always see it.
Yeah, I can always see what's going on. We're always
And our food is good. Like Pam said, the Rubens are off out of the sport hall.
there's nothing she can't.
But everything she makes.
And we're just really blessed to have them on board. But if there's anything I didn't cover, I'm more than happy to do that. And just because I probably made some stuff up here, and then you can double check me, take these with you, and learn more about the Denny House than I talked about. And now it's official. John forced me to finish my history book down there.
Did you get one already?
Yeah, no, I need.
You know what? Can I just leave some at the library?
Oh my goodness, yes. We love coming in and finding them.
And I would love to do a for houses and everything in the community. I'm trying to talk with support the Boleskis, but we'll see. I mean, nowadays it's can be a little scary. But
Years ago, I went to a walking tour in California all over. We did decorations for Christmas, and then our donation to the library.
I know, and I wanted to do it to benefit the library, but I was trying to talk with the Boleskis and Lisa Schwartz into it. They did. I have the flyer.
I don't know, you have to take reservations and have people like, I don't know what's kind of free. Exactly.
And I know I understand. I'm going to talk to Ingrid about it too. And you completely understand. Mine's more open to the public, so I would find tours of, the houses I own and stuff like that. But
Have you been able to see some?
oh my gosh,
So
yes.
gorgeous.
You know, you're talking about making friends. I had the Blessings for the first time. They've lived here how many years, and I've lived here. They came to the Denny House, was excited about it. We did one of our big schools. They tell us about places. They take us places. They gave us tours of their house. We introduced them to other people who gave tours. Their house is amazing.
It is.
Well, where is it?
Right across the street.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
They're like Bob pretty much, I mean, he pretty much funded the alcohol for the event, the Gatsby event.
Very generous. And no matter, we'll have go to come to tables. Anybody want to go to this? And he introduced us to several places we've gone that we like the Trees restaurant and Ligonier and the Scottish Inn and Hocking,
Talking
Hocking Hills, and just they're constantly traveling.
here.
Oh, the train station.
Train station.
Oh my gosh. And they're just generous with our events that support us. And they've been working in their house since the early 80s, and it is a labor of love, and it is gorgeous. Yes. And they're always willing. Like I was having trouble. I had because we had some of the cracks in some of the walls that needed redone before I could do it in Airbnb. And I find this wallpaper. Sharon's, I'm on it. I'm on it. And she spent hours on the wallpaper that I needed. And I was like, oh, thank you. They're a great resource and just wonderful people. But we've got so many cool people just coming to the Denny House, and it's a fun place. But thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
and
you.
listening.
Thank you.
I know it's freezing outside.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Like I said, we need that in this area.
Or do you want to give a little plug? What's the library got coming up?
Well, let's see. Next month, we have some children's programs coming up that are going to be fun. We're going to try to be in states